going on YouTube? Today we're going to be talking about an unboxing on this guy. I have the addresses marked off, so you can't see them. John, thank you very much. This is the knife I've been carrying all the time. I just can't get this thing out of my pocket. It's crazy. I'm like sacrificing other knives that I should be carrying for review, and my reviews are getting delayed even further. So a lot of them are first impressions because they're knives that I haven't used a whole lot. But in the near future, I will be having reviews on those knives. I just need to get more pocket time on them to be fair to you guys, because I don't think it's fair to do it any other way. I don't want to lie and say that I love the knife because I put it in my pocket twice. I want to actually use these knives and put them through their paces to the point that I can then say I like it or I don't like it. The whole point of my channel, aside from trying to teach you guys sharpening things and anything that I can, was to promote transparency in the knife community and try to help with giving you guys an idea of knives that work for me, and if it's in your budget and something that you want to get and you think that you can relate to me in the way that I use the knife and it would work out for you, that's my goal. I want to help save guys money, not have you spend your money on a knife that I think, that I promote online as being so great that I really have never even carried. I'm just opening a box saying that, I've used it or something. Like, I want to be as honest as I possibly can with you guys. So please be patient with reviews, just because I know there's a lot of first impressions and stuff, but I promise you I'm trying to carry these knives as fast as I can within, the right timeline to give you honest reviews. So let's go ahead and open this guy up. It is another Spyderco. Seems like I have a lot of Spydercos lately. But it is going towards what I was talking about in an earlier video about working knives. So this is the dark green military in 204p. John basically made me an offer I couldn't refuse. I know recently John has felt in a similar way as me with certain knives. He's been directing his knives towards certain brands, and instead of just collecting all the same Spyderco knives in different variants, he wanted to branch out a little bit, and I can appreciate and understand that 100%. So, but when he sent me a video of the action on it, and gave me that number, it was just it was a done deal basically. I know the military it's not like an action kind of knife, but this one has a really nice action. The centering is pretty much perfect, maybe just tilting to the left a hair. I know it gets a lot of flack for being a tip down carry. That's what I'm sure some people think about the Microtech SOCOM Elite, that because it's a tip down carry knife, that it's not supposed to not be as good or something. I think a lot of people think that tip up is the way to go, but really don't understand that the reason why they do tip down on these, because they're so big. So you can see the military is actually just a touch bigger than SOCOM Elite. And this is a brand new in box. He's never used it, so as far as he told me anyways. I believe him. I don't have any reason not to. The edge pretty much looks perfect. 204p, I imagine it is going to be a decent steel. Even if it's not heat treated optimally, I'm not too worried about it. The choice in getting this really had to do with the size and the functionality of it. I do like liner locks. I like frame locks as well. I do like the purpose of the military, being a bigger knife, being a user knife. That's the goal that I was going with. In the recent couple videos, I explained that, and I don't want to keep getting knives that are just aesthetically pleasing. I want them to have the functionality and usability, and not be afraid to use the knife. That's the whole purpose of having knives. And I find that the knives that I use, I enjoy a lot more. And even if it's a little bit more expensive of a knife, I get much more enjoyment out of it than a knife that I don't use at all. So I'm not the Instagram picture taking kind of guy. I didn't even have Instagram until I got YouTube because some of you guys told me to do it to help with viewership, and I appreciate that a lot, and it definitely has helped grow the channel. So first impressions of this guy, it feels just like a military feels. The action might be just a little bit smoother than any military I've ever held or used. But overall, it has a good action. It's snappy. It doesn't drop shut. I don't really care about that. That's not why I got this knife again. The tip down factor, I completely understand why. It's so that, and Vinny Nero explains this in depth in a video. If you haven't seen it, most of you probably already have. The reasoning behind this, because it's a bigger knife, and when you grab it in a tip down carry, it's easier to grab out of the pocket when it's tipped down because it is so big, and swivel or pivot the knife and open it, rather than if this was tip up, you'd have to pull it out of your pocket, scoot up on the blade, and turn it around to open it. Being that it's tipped down, you just pull it out and pivot, and you're there. So instead of making two motions in a tip up carry, where you pull up on it, scoop, and turn, you're just pivoting or turning and then deploying. So that's the reason why they do it with a bigger knife like this. That's the reason why they do it with the Microtech SOCOM Elite. Any knife that's as big as these two knives are, it makes sense to go tip down. So let's do some quick size comparisons. I'll bring you guys in closer. We'll get this done fast because I know you guys don't have all day to be here. All right, guys, let's do the Benchmade Griptilian first. As you can see, it is absolutely dwarfed by the military. Let's line the blades up quick. So you're going to get about an extra 3/8 of an inch on the military in overall blade length or cutting edge length. This is a 4-inch knife from the end of the handle where the 50/50 choil starts to the tip. And then the cutting edge is just over 3.5 inches, about 3 3/4 inches. And the Griptilian is like 3 1/4 inches of cutting and 3.5 of blade length overall. The handle on the military is about 5.5 inches, and on the Griptilian, you're going to get about 4.5 inches. So you have about an extra inch of handle length on the military. Let's do the little baby brother of this guy, the Para 3, and it is incredibly small compared to the military. You're basically getting double the blade and close to double the handle. The Para 3, you're only going to get a 4-inch handle, and you're only going to get a 3-inch blade with about a 2.5 or 2 5/8 inch cutting edge. And I've already given the specs on the military, so you can see how that compares. Show the blade against the blade. It's not even a fair comparison. I'm just doing it because that way you guys can get an idea of the size of the military if you have any of these knives. Ontario rat number 1, even that is dwarfed by the military. And the rat number 1's a big friggin' knife. This military, it's a big knife. It's meant to do some work. And that's the reason I got it. The rat number 1, you're going to get about 3 1/4 inches of cutting edge and about 3 3/4 of overall length. And then the handle is 5 inches. So the handle on the rat 1 is closer to the military, but the blade length is obviously not as big. The military is actually a fairly thin knife too. I think the thickness is about the same as the Para 3. It may even be a touch thinner. I don't know. It's very close. But even the blade grind too. The stock thickness on the military, I believe, is maybe just a touch thicker than the Para 3. But it actually looks very similar. And even like the tips are very close. The military is just a little bit more stout. But when you're talking like double the size of the knife, basically, it's understandable. I like that the military is swept down a little bit. So like the way that, the stance of the knife, basically like the belly and the butt of the handle are like a straight line with each other. Show you what I mean. So here you can see this is a straight line here. The butt of the handle right here and the belly of the knife right here are almost in perfect alignment with each other. So when you go to use the military, the belly of the military, you have good knuckle clearance, which is nice. And those are the knives that I'll compare. I guess I could do the Microtech quick too, but they're actually very similar. The Microtech, you get about the same blade length as the military. It's just that you don't have a 50-50 choil, but it's still just about the same. And then the handle length, you do get about an extra 1/2 inch of handle on the military than you do on the Microtech SOCOM Elite. So far, I'm pretty impressed with this military, but I do have to say that I didn't drool over it like I did the Microtech SOCOM Elite. I feel like this is just a different class, the Microtech, even though they're very similar. Well, not very similar in price, but they're pretty much the same caliber knife. This does have a good action on it, and that's cool. But again, action is not the reason why I'm getting knives at this point. I do find that if it has a good action, that it does bring me some enjoyment. But like I've said in other videos, I'm going for a user factor. I want to be able to use this knife, put it through whatever paces I want, and not feel like I'm going to break it, and not feel like, I took $1,000 knife and beat the shit out of it and devalued it by half. So I don't think you'll be seeing a whole lot more Spydercos my way. Who knows what the future will bring, but the military is one knife that I feel like is going to stay in my collection, and I know is a user knife and is something that I'm going to be able to use for years to come. I like this size knife. It fits my hand nicely. I still have some meat at the back, and then if I want to choke up, I still can, and I have plenty back here, and I have good size hands. John has really big hands. He's a big dude, but so he prefers a bigger knife too. So we have similarities in our collection in that way, that we both like bigger knives, and he won't get rid of his S90V military. But this military, I think, is going to get a good amount of use, and I'll have to share pocket time between this and the SOCOM Elite and still get reviews done for you guys. I know the pocket clip is not ambidextrous, but if you had to use this knife lefty, I guess you could. One thing I noticed is the jimping is a little sharp on this. It could be because it's new, but it almost feels like the jimping on this is reminiscent of the Taichung Taiwan Spydercos. That's kind of how the jimping and knife feels on those Taiwan-made knives. Now the Spidey hole is definitely smoother on this than like your standard Taichung Taiwan knives. Actually, the Pair 3 might even be a touch sharper. And this is a well-used Pair 3, and this is a brand new 204P. So the military does have a full flat grind, like most of Spyderco's knives. Again, it's a liner lock. Right now, lockup is about 50%. Hopefully you guys should be able to see it. And detent and action are nice again. I like the G10. I'm not a huge fan of dark green, but this is a pretty sweet color. It's lighter than I thought it was going to be, more of like a hunter green, and it's just a little bit lighter than I thought it was going to be, which I like. That's a good thing. I'm not sure if it's coming up on camera for you guys. Maybe if I bring in some more color, it'll balance it out to give you guys like the true green. But yeah, that's pretty close to the true green of what my camera's displaying right now. Maybe just a little bit lighter than how it's displaying, but pretty close. I'm excited to see how this knife feels with with more rigorous use. But getting back to the G10, this is very grippy. I do like Spyderco's G10. It has like just enough grip to it. See how the lockup is. Lockup is like perfect. There's a little bit of side to side play. But that could be just a pivot tightening that needs to happen. Okay, Now it's dialed in. So it's not quite free dropping like it was before, but there's no side to side now, which I'd rather take a little bit stiffer of an action than have it just like free drop and then end up having side to side play. No up and down either. So yeah, I'll take it. You know, it's all compromise. That's where I'm so impressed with the Microtech SOCOM Elite that you have like absolutely no. I mean, this thing's fucking rock solid, but still drops, and you can end up cutting your fingers so easily if you're not careful and stop it before it does. To be sideways and still have it drop free, this thing is in a league of its own. But alright guys, that's pretty much going to do it for this video. John, thank you for the knife. It's going to get used. I'm looking forward to bringing it to work, getting some use out of it. And you know, it has some fidget factor. It's obviously, you know, not as like fun as some other knives, but I know what I'm getting with this thing, and I know it's going to be a workhorse knife like the SOCOM Elite. So I'm sure for a little while these are going to be the only two knives in my pocket, the SOCOM Elite and this, even though I need to rotate other knives in for you guys so that I can give you some reviews. But yeah, first impressions are so far so good. I know this is going to be a keeper for me, unless I have somebody make me some stupid offer on it. This is going to be kept and used. So John, thanks again. All my followers, subscribers, thank you for watching. This is Mike with I Heart Knives. If you could go down, like, comment, subscribe, give me your thoughts. Let me know if you have a military and how you like it. And yeah, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Have yourselves a good day, and I'll see you on the next one.